So what we're going to discuss here is the invasion of the Army in 1857, and what's believed by many, including myself, to be a peculiar set-off date, late July. It really doesn't make sense. Spring. Or they should have left maybe just 2 weeks earlier, really about a month earlier. Why this was set up like this baffles some people, and it baffles me, and looking at this odd march, this is so meaningless. So many people were harmed. This is Jesse Gove. Van Vliet is silent. His instructions were secret. If I have written before what everyone who knows anything about the country says, and that is, it was too late to start the expedition. Had the blockheads in Washington had an idea in their heads, or listened to those who were able to give advice, all of this stuff would have been avoided, and in the spring a splendid outfit might have been made, and supplies of grass and wood and water obtained, because they took off in July, but all you had to do is take off in March or April, and you just walk there and eat the entire way. But the orders came out in late May. They don't start marching till late July. People leave the East the following March and are out there in just a few weeks. And this is what would have happened with the Army. And even in here, Gove is saying we could just stomp in there and liquidate this problem in short order. He's not the least bit worried about going through these ramparts the Mormons have set up. One of the first things the Mormons did was come out here and burn all of this, which would have been impossible in March or April or May. This is the Army route. Here's where Granger is. He marches 35 miles up here, comes up short of Kemmerer, and turns around and comes back down. I'm going to read that to you and then show you Google Earth. Not only do you have this late dispatch date, they get out here in late September. They had to go 150 miles, so there was some time. But there's this peculiar hesitancy in here with this 35-mile up and down trip that doesn't make any sense. Colonel Alexander, senior officer in command, said, quote, "In utter ignorance of the objects of the government in sending troops here, or in the instructions given for their conduct after reaching here, he assumed command." This on October 5th. He convened a council of war and found opinions divided. He decided to press forward and decided to go up the way we're looking at it right now. So he proceeds on October 11th, and half-heartedly, it states, moved along making but 35 miles, which is about where we are in here. So they get up in here. So this takes a week to go 35 miles. And on October 18th, he returns down this way, heading for Fort Bridger, which is down in here. To Alexander's relief, word came saying that Colonel Albert Sidney Johnson would soon arrive to take over command. So he gets back down here to where Granger is. This takes over 3 weeks. He has men and horses strung out for miles. Repeatedly in Gove's letters, he calls Alexander an old woman and insults him for his actions, his lack of decisiveness. This is that 35-mile march. Here's what Jesse Gove says. "A report is out, we are going back. God forbid. The colonel is not the man for this position. If he calls upon me in a proper manner, I shall talk to him with great freedom. The fact is, he is not competent to command so important an expedition." Same event. 2 Mormon spies were taken in camp yesterday. They are 2 brothers Hickman, brothers to the celebrated Bill Hickman, who is hovering around our rear with a large party. We sleep on our arms, ready at any moment to receive our Mormon friends. I learn all I can from the mountain men who know the Mormons well. They are the greatest set of villains on the earth. They say that Bill Hickman is one of the 70 destroying angels and has murdered more than 100 men in this country with his own hand. We hope to meet him soon. So while he's saying that on October 11th or 12th, on the 14th, he finds out that Alexander wants them to turn around. On the 15th, he's writing, I never saw such a disgusted set of men as the officers are. They are furious. What his final determination will be, I don't know. If we do go back, we are in a fair way to be disgraced. The Mormons are hovering about us in large numbers, seeking an opportunity to run us off. That's Fatso George Smith on the right. It's Brigadier General Sidney Johnson there on the left. So again, in regards to Alexander, on the 18th, this is when they're starting to march back. He refers to Alexander as childlike conduct, is a disgrace to the service. He is eternally disgraced. Further on, he says, had General Harney been at Green River when he should have been, we would have been saved all this and been in Salt Lake City. When he was absent and Alexander, the old woman, found himself in one of the prettiest positions an officer could desire, assumed command, did nothing, made an ass of himself, was crazy, fooled away the entire month of beautiful October, marching up Harris Fork and down again, when had he done his duty, or done as he was advised, by those who would and could sustain him, we should have been in or before the walls of the saints' cities. And that was said a week after the return of Alexander. Now this Harney is the same General Harney that's been nicknamed Squaw Killer Harney. There are a number of Shoshone or Snake Indians here. They are the most warlike tribes in the mountains. They are down on the Mormons, and the chief is here to see General Harney. He wants to take 1,200 warriors into the field. They are a splendid set of men. Alexander should hire as hunters and guides some 25 of them. But the old woman never will do any such thing. He is the most worthless old fogey in the world, frightened to death. He is in his dotage, and I really believe he is a little frightened. So again, it's October 5th when they receive this dispatch and the declaration of martial law. This dispatch is the one that says, you, the army, you can stay here in winter if you like, but you'll have to surrender your arms to us. This is Brigham Young to the army. The guy's got chutzpah. But this is the same Mormon army that approached the Fancher train and said to 120 men, women, and children, 90 of whom were women and children, if you'll give us your arms, we can help you out of here.